no take-home pay.
Just stop for a second. Stop for a second and think about this. You're going to cut taxes. In the mindset of general people, that takes a lot from revenue. You're going to rely on a very non-specific amount of people getting jobs, and in theory, they are going to pay taxes.
The most important thing is for people to have jobs. The number one priority.
Menial jobs. They may not even pay income tax.
The number one thing is for them to get jobs. That's the number one priority.
You know what? Let's say that you cut taxes. Okay, let's say you cut taxes. Okay, so let's make a bunch of underlying assumptions. Let's just say the tax rate right now is 25%. Okay, it's different across the board, but it's about 25%. Let's say you cut it to 20%, right? Okay, so that's 5%. Let's say that every single fucking person in America gets employed. So we have 100 fucking % employment, which is completely unrealistic. But so you cut 5% taxes all around the board, right? So that's what you do. So you can gain 10% employment. But think of it this way. So we already have 90%. We already have 90% employment. So we're going to gain 10%. So that's 1/9. And you're cutting taxes by 5%. You're assuming that we're going to be able to make it up with that much. And this is assuming that we get full fucking employment, which by cutting taxes, we're probably going to increase employment maybe 1.5, 2% tops.
Okay, so do you, in your personal opinion, when we have a situation like this, an economic situation like this, do you honestly think that this is, in the economy moving this slowly, that it's good to raise taxes on across the board?
Yes.
It's an economic principle to not raise taxes that both Romney and Obama agree on, or Obama used to agree on, that you don't raise taxes on anyone when the economy is moving
This
slowly.
is something you have to do with Obama right now. This is me. I think we should raise taxes.
I'm telling you the two.
Because the thing is, raising taxes, it doesn't, even if we raise taxes 5% all across the board, maybe our employment falls maybe about 1.5%. That 5% counteracts that 1.5%, a lot more.
Okay, so do you think that's honestly what the American people deserve at this point? When the number one thing is jobs, and you're going to be raising taxes on them, so they have less money to invest in the future, less money to spend on goods, less money to spend on.
Let's put it this way: if you are cutting taxes all across the board, there's not a future. Our deficit grows. We don't fucking own anything in about 10 years.
If we cut taxes across the board, we cut taxes also for businesses. That's going to make business more attractive in America. Why do you think businesses are going overseas? Why? Why do you think that?
Other than the fact that, businesses going overseas is not a bad thing. Have you heard of comparative advantage?
Global economy.
The number one issue, I understand the comparative advantage. I understand that, but we need jobs here. You can be as realist or as practical as you want, but if you go around the streets in America and you give people that theory, they're not going to be happy about it because the average American wants a job.
Because the average American is wrong.
It's wrong, so they shouldn't have a job.
No, because by sending jobs that are more productive, sending those overseas, that helps us.
How about, go on TV and say that. Go ahead.
All right.
How about you go and tell everyone? And you think that the Republicans don't give a shit about the majority of Americans. Mitt Romney wants everyone to have a job.
Let's put it this way. 80% of America had no fucking idea. You know what? More than that.
They don't deserve.
95% of America doesn't know how economic policy works.
That's the type of big government mentality that is disturbing and is against American principles.
I'm not even talking about
principles.
I'm not even talking about big government. I'm talking about sustainability.
It's the idea that the American people don't know what the hell they're talking about, and so they don't deserve certain information. Okay, so they don't deserve a job.
Matthew,
half America is not as smart as we are.
What if I just sent you in to do fucking heart surgery right now? Well, what do you think would happen? 99% of America is not fucking qualified to do heart surgery. That's why we train fucking doctors. And just likewise, 99% of America does not know economic theory. That's why we have economists developing our economic theory for us. It doesn't fucking matter if the average American thinks they're being fucked over if it's for their own good.
But what I'm saying is, you tell that to a middle class family that's struggling now, unemployed.
I'll tell them.
I'll tell them. Wouldn't you say that middle class family deserves to have more take home pay? Deserves to have a job in America?
No.
They don't deserve
Deserves
that.
is a poor word.
They don't deserve that.
You should say
they don't
can work for
this way. By sending these jobs overseas, by making things cheaper overseas, we are creating jobs in America.